All right, welcome everybody to our newest edition of Chomp and Chat. I know we've been missing a couple weeks. We've missed you and hope that you've missed us, but we're glad to be back. I'm Holly Chanchoso, and I'm joined today again by our wonderful Troy Albright. Hi, Troy.
Hi, Holly. Yeah, I apologize for missing a couple episodes. I was on vacation. Can you believe it? I actually took vacation. I literally
Wow.
took 2 weeks off. I mean, it's been a long time since I've done that, and now I'm back and ready to go into fall here, full steam ahead.
All right, yeah, because fall planting, that's what we talked about last time, is getting those towers ready for the fall planting. Today, we're going to talk about, I call it Hug My Tower time. In the mornings, I love to make a cup of coffee, go outside with my tower, and just spend some time with it. You know, it's so easy to grow on the tower, and a lot of times I hear about people that haven't went out and checked on their tower in days, and I just think, while it's easy, that spending that quality time with your tower is important. I get excited to go out and just look at how much growth happens. I mean, you can watch it grow every day. There's some growth. And it's just spending that time checking on your plants, checking on your tower. Do you have enough minerals and stuff and nutrients in there and water? Because nothing's sadder than to come outside and that tower, all your plants laying down because you ran out of water. So just checking for things like that. Like I said, just hug your tower. It's good for the tower. It's also good for my soul. Now, Troy, I know with you, you give lots of hugs because you, I know, are inspecting your towers all the time in the greenhouse. Tell me some of the things you're looking for in the greenhouse.
Well, it's hard to hug 320 towers that
Yeah,
are 9 feet tall and in our greenhouse. But there, how there is some science between when you look at hugging your tower, because when you're looking at your tower, you're talking to your tower, maybe singing to your tower, breathing on your tower, those plants are taking up that CO2. So there is science behind it as well. So our plants need CO2, oxygen. So there's more to just than hugging your tower. So just FYI, as a pharmacist, I'm looking at those kind of things in my patients. So even plants need CO2, oxygen as well. So we constantly have an opening when we open the day. We walk through the greenhouse, making sure that we don't see something funny. Leaves that are curled, tip burn, pumps that might have gone out, so a tower is all wilted. So we're doing basics. Again, you don't have to spend hours looking at these towers. We just walk up and down the aisle, making notes and looking for the basics. And that's what we want those on the residential side to do as well.
yeah, because I mean, so much of it with gardening, if you do have an issue, it's jumping on it right away. And one of the things I like to do is when I'm outside, like I said, I'm looking for stuff that needs to be harvested. I'm looking for those jalapenos that are hiding in there. But I like to just run my hands through the plants because if I have white flies or something like that and I disturb the leaves, they're going to fly off. As I'm getting in there, I can see if I've got aphids. Most aphids don't fly. But if you notice stuff like that right in the very beginning, you'll be able to jump on it, treat it, and take care of it. Caterpillars and like those big, ugly green hornworms, they can devour leaves in like no time. So even looking like on your reservoir lid, are you seeing any black specks? Because that can be caterpillar poo. So now you know you need to really get in there and look. You talked about tip burn. What are some of the other things that we're looking at on residential for the leaves that can tell us?
So sometimes we've run into the fact that people have their produce looking like a yellowish green, a chartreuse color. Well, come to find out, a lot of times people forget to add minerals, add the nutrients. So upon startup, they add all the nutrients. And since it's been cool out, they might not have to add any nutrients. But the problem is the plants are taking up a lot of those nutrients. So you do have to still add nutrients as you add water. Otherwise, your plants are not getting the nutrition they need. Just like you and I, we eat every day. Our plants are eating every day too. So it's important that we add nutrition, those nutrients, when we add water to the reservoir too.
Well, just kind of little off subject or just be a helpful tip is I bought an EC nutrient meter. And, because I've been growing 12 years now. And in the beginning, I just, did that guess, okay, it's half empty, I'm gonna add this much in minerals with my water. But I got the EC nutrient meter, and that reads the nutrients that are in your water. And I'm not having to deal with that yellowish color. I'm not having to deal with tip burn because it's not too strong, it's not too light. That EC nutrient meter really takes the guesswork, and I have had a much better gardening experience with it.
Right. So there's a lot of science behind those meters. We use professional meters, the Blue Lab meters, which are more for a laboratory or big production like we have. But the EC meters that we do sell are measuring, like you said, the electrical conductivity. So as the dissolved solids go up, your electrical conductivity goes up too. So we know then we just have to add water to dilute it out, not add more nutrients. So it really makes gardening much more simpler. The goal is to keep it simple, fun and simple, so people can grow their own food right in their own backyard.
Yeah, because I know one of the things I used to notice, and one of the things you look for on the tower, is seeing that crusty, salty like buildup. Well, I learned that that was from the minerals and that they were getting too concentrated. So then I would add just plain water. So, I mean, you can kind of tell, but like I said, that meter really took the guesswork out, and I've not seen any crusty buildup. I see so much less algae too. And that algae, while it's not harmful, pests are attracted to it. So I like to keep my tower hosed off outside. I like to hose it off, and that also helps with the pests. But even indoors, I am wiping that algae off just to, it's better looking when people come and check out my towers. But it's also helpful with pests, even though it's not harmful. But those are some of the things I look for on my tower.
Yeah, so again, we hose our towers down in our greenhouse because we have French drains, so we can hose those towers down because we grow without any pesticides, herbicides, fungicides. Plus, we use a product called twin oxide that helps keep those minerals dissolved so they don't fall out and create, precipitate out like that. So that's another product. And then someday we'll probably do another talk just on twin oxide and how that can actually help sterilize your tower, decrease the amount of algae, and those kind of things as well.
Yep, and like I said, so you're just kind of you're looking for pests, you're looking for any problems with your tower. Do you have water leaking? As the plants get bigger, they can cause root balls and cause the water to kind of deflect and go around it. Your shower cap can get plugged. And I never thought about those holes plugging up, but they can, and washing that down is helpful. So it's just kind of, is your pump running? Do you have roots in your reservoir? You're looking for pests. You're looking for just any problem. And like I said, and it's just a great time to spend with the tower. I just thoroughly enjoy going out there every morning and seeing what has grown.
Once you start eating the produce off the tower, it's hard to go to the grocery store and buy the produce or even go to these high-end restaurants because it doesn't taste clean. It tastes like dirt. You can taste the chemicals. You won't go wrong by using a tower garden to grow your own produce.
No, it just hosing it off, not having to use pesticides.
Exactly.
And something else I know, like I caught really early because I didn't know what it was back a few years ago when I was growing. But my leaves were kind of looked like I had used 7-Dust on it or something back like my dad used to do with the roses. And it's like, what is this? So I did a little research and found out it was powdery mildew. And it's like, oh, okay. And it's like, oh, you're supposed to treat it. Well, I didn't jump on it. And it took over and killed that plant. And it is so treatable if you catch it early. So that's how important that time is, that you're catching things early.
Right. And that's why it's important to look at your tower every day. Go out there and have a cup of coffee first thing in the morning, look at it, talk to it, observe it. And again, being proactive instead of reactive is always the best way.
Oh, for pests, for the leaves, everything like that. I agree. And just like you said, keeping it clean so that your produce is all nice and fresh and clean, and because harvesting more frequently is your plants grow better. I think a lot of times people get so fascinated with how big and beautiful some of those lettuce heads are, like that butterhead. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty when it's full. The Salanova looks like a big flower. And I think sometimes people don't want to harvest it because it's so pretty right now, but you need to harvest.
Right. No, I agree. Just like the towers that you have in your background there, those are Bib lettuces. And once you can't see the white plastic anymore, they're overgrown and it's time to start harvesting. Because as soon as that air can't get into that plant canopy, it makes a perfect area for bugs to start replicating, hiding and replicating. An aphid is asexual. What I mean by that is one aphid doesn't need another aphid to recreate. So even a baby aphid can start recreating the next day. So one turns into 10, 10 turns into 100, 100 turns into 1,000 if the temperatures and everything is just perfect, like in our greenhouse or even in our own houses. So again, being proactive is the way to go.
Yep. And then I'm looking at like, the first leaves will die off. I have snap branches harvesting sometimes when I've not been as careful as I should have, yanking it off. Now I have pruners, but cutting off dead stuff too is important so that because the plant will work to repair broken, dying leaves, and you don't want that energy going into repairing. You want it to go into growing.
Exactly. Yep, those first true leaves, those cotyledon leaves will always die off. That's very natural. So as you have leaves dying off, it's important to prune those if you have the time and put that energy into growing good, delicious salads and herbs and those kind of things.
Yep. And by not harvesting, your plant can bolt too, because it says, okay, I'm as big as I'm going to get. And then you can lose that head if it starts bolting because it will make it bitter.
Exactly. Exactly. Important to just stay on top of it.
Yep. And then I even like to, I prune my tomatoes. I watched a lot of videos before I found a guy, because some were really scientific. And there was a guy that talked, and he made me laugh because he talked about pruning and the suckers, and he described them as the arm hair, your underarm hair of your arms, and talked about pinching them off. And then he really showed how to do it. And I produce so much better tomatoes now that I'm pruning too.
Exactly. Again, we can do another blog talk on that as well, because I think that's important to prune your tomatoes so it pushes that growth into the actual fruit, the tomato fruit, not into just this green leafy vines. You want fruit on those, and pruning allows that to happen.
Well, I love my tower time. I love hugging my tower and spending the time with it. Like I said, it excites me to see the growth, to see the new produce coming out and being able to pick that off. And I just love that time, and I just encourage people to do that. Troy, what about you? Closing thoughts?
What was your question? I'm sorry.
Do you have any closing thoughts?
So my goal is to make sure people understand that food can be medicine and that medicine can be food. Hippocrates said that, centuries ago. And I remember when I first learned that as a kid, I thought, oh, yeah, right. But now I firmly believe it. Let your food be medicine. Buy the best quality food or grow the best quality food you can, and you'll see our health change. You'll see your kids learn better just by the foods they're eating. It's very, very important. So if you take away one thing, grow the food that you love to eat. And if you can't grow it because you don't have time, look for your local farmers market and buy, the organic produce that's being grown locally. You'll be healthier for it.
Yeah. So our Chomp and Chats are always published on our YouTube channel. And we have a bunch of wonderful videos that are helpful. And then also our discussion today about hugging your tower and previous discussions on our website, we have a blog section. So check out our YouTube channel, check out our blog, follow along, and we're here to just help make your growing experience the best it can be.
Sounds great. I look forward to our next time.
All right. Take care, Troy.